Ladies and gentlemen, only gentlemen, on an aside, on this 12th of July, one of the greatest ironies of our times is that in London, where Suhel and Ashwini are joining us from, very soon, a man called Suresh Kalmadi might actually be sitting there at the Olympics saying that I represent, certain athletics organizations. He's written a letter. Point. So Suresh Kalmadi will be in London wearing the India hat at the Olympics, and an honest officer trying to clean up our airlines is going to get the boot. So, that is the point.
Is it only about pleasing the minister? Is that what it's all about?
Yeah, it's about.
Why don't you get the minister on the show?
Absolutely,
and ask him.
Why won't he need to answer a few questions?
Why won't I? You're putting the onus on me.
Why don't you invite? Why don't you invite Ajit Singh to News Hour and make it News Day, because he'll require at least 24 hours to understand the questions and the issues, and then probably he might have a squeaky.
Well, if it satisfies you, Suhel,
you should invite to the show.
If it satisfies you,
must invite Gopinath, because Gopinath has a solution to every problem.
Yeah. Therefore, since you are saying so, Suhel, let me say it officially since it satisfies you. I hereby officially invite the Civil Aviation Minister, Mr. Ajit Singh, on the News Hour on what has happened as regarding this honest officer's removal. I hereby officially invite Mamta Banerjee to explain what happened in Shantiniketan. I hereby invite Akhilesh Yadav, who's holidaying in London, I am told, to explain what is happening in Bulandshahr. And I hereby invite the newly inducted Chief Minister of Karnataka, I think it's called Mr. Jagdish Shettar, is the latest, to explain what is happening in the Susa Jones case. You know, Suhel, that is not for want of trying. We invite them. The Civil Aviation Minister must explain not just to Times Now News Hour, he must explain to everyone. He has not said a word. Tell me, Suhel and Ashwini, is that all right? That a minister is not answerable on the manner in which...
No. Can I, you know where the biggest shaming is? The biggest shaming is after 1 minute, Gopinath, don't interrupt. Gopinath, don't interrupt. You know what the biggest shame point is? That after Anna's movement, after all the probity in public life, after the Kalmadi Raja scandals, we still as a nation don't learn. We don't honor honesty. We don't honor principled people. And what we then tell the world is that yes, if you're honest, there is no place for you in our regulatory bodies. If you're non-corrupt, we have no worshipping of yours. I mean, what kind of a nation are we becoming? It is reprehensible. The Supreme Court, which is finally delivering landmark justice, should actually hold the government to task on this. Someone should file a PIL saying, how did Bharat Bhushan get removed? But don't mix up the issues. The ailments will continue to exist.
How helpless? Whether Bharat Bhushan is there or not there, the passengers will continue to suffer.
Yes, Ashwini.
Also, what is going to happen is, none of the big issues have been addressed. None, not a single one. 49% hanging for years. Passenger rights hanging for years. The bloody taxes hanging for years. Aviation fuel hanging for years. I mean, what kind of action are we taking? Now you are saying that Bharat Bhushan took 3 or 4 actions. I laud him for that. But what about all the actions that he did not initiate as a bureaucrat?
The only thing that doesn't hang in India are corrupt officers.
Ashwini, along with all the other things that are hanging there, is also the issue of how the business of civil aviation is conducted in this country. What is the relationship between the travel agent who distributes 80% of the inventory? I mean, look, there are all these issues. Unfortunately, the office of the DGCA had abdicated all responsibility as far as the commercial aspect of civil aviation was concerned. So we've talked about creating a civil aviation authority. Now, maybe we need to look at, maybe the DGCA's office has just far too many things thrust upon it.
No, first of all, I disagree with Ashwini Kumar completely.
Arnab, can I come in?
Mr. Ashwini Kumar, I disagree with you completely. I think you are wrong and factually incorrect to be blaming Bharat Bhushan for disinvestment. That's a regulatory issue. The government does it. Bharat Bhushan doesn't decide whether there's 49% or not. And further to the point which you are making.
The bureaucracy writes all the papers for the government.
So, Mr. One second. Here's a question to you, Mr. Ashwini Kakkar. I'm coming to you, Capt Gopinath. My question is to Ashwini Kakkar. As a rebut, is it wrong for me to surmise that Bharat Bhushan was pro-passenger, but perhaps not pro-corporate lobbies? In other words, the corporate lobbies will be happy to have him out, but the passengers...
Corporate lobbies, yes. The corporate lobbies may have been working against him. I don't know. But, the point I want to make is that every person, every individual in the Civil Aviation Ministry has to be pro-passenger, has to make sure that the passengers' rights are taken into consideration.
This man was pro-passenger.
Adequate safety, that all the airlines are flying. Yes, he has taken a lot of good actions. I laud him for those good actions. But has he done enough? Is a big question mark.
And I think the bigger issue, Arnab, as you rightly said, is he the person to do everything that we are talking about?
Certainly not.
And my recommendation is the Civil Aviation Ministry needs to take on board some of the stuff that's being raised here. Because apart from the Bharat Bhushan incident, which is severe, there are a whole host of hanging issues.
No, you cannot treat civil aviation something that you can play around with. I mean, this is a ridiculous state of affairs where the person who is supposedly heading the entire civil aviation safety thing is thrown out of his office in 10 minutes.
I don't know what...
I mean, what is this? Is this a good khel?
Yeah, I think we need to ask ourselves whether we actually care about the way passengers feel, or we only are concerned about the way corporate lobbies will react. Captain Gopinath.
Yeah, listen, Arnab, see the issue of the humiliation or the otherwise or arbitrariness of removing Bharat Bhushan is an issue which can be known when you understand what are the intricate undercurrents between the PMO and the Ajit Singh Civil Aviation Minister. But having said that, the issue is not Bharat Bhushan as an individual being honest or dishonest, if he did a good job or not. What I'm saying is that the previous DGCA retired. 2 years in advance we knew when he was retiring. Just like you know when the army chief is retiring.
Yeah.
2 years in advance when they knew when the Mr. Goyal retired. Why the government and did not bring in...
But you look at his track record, sir. This is an unimpeachably honest officer who has fought for passengers.
No, that's not the point.
He has run over corporate interests. The lesson I draw is that you run over corporate interests, you'll get the boot. It doesn't matter what you're doing for passengers.
You're missing the woods for the trees. Why was a proper DGCA not brought in?
Who says he's not? In fact, there are many people who believe you have never had a more proper DGCA than Bharat Bhushan.
Captain Gopinath, you know it as much as I know. Captain, just a minute. Captain, you also know it.
Listen, one second. He was brought in for 6 months. He should have been appointed as a full-time DGCA.
No, Captain Gopinath is not taking care of the realistic picture.
Yeah.
The Ministry of Civil Aviation had advertised twice for getting an incumbent to the DGCA position. Only after they failed to get a candidate, and there was no candidate available within DGCA, so they had to give him the job.
Gentlemen, we are digressing. This man did a lot of good for passengers in India. He was doing a lot of good. He was treading over corporate lobbies.
Absolutely.
And he has been thrown out at a point of time when perhaps he was getting too dangerous.
That is what is a matter of shame.
Now, that is what people are concerned about. You know, we have to draw a line here. And as we said, I think the minister, I take Suhel Seth's advice because I'm out of time. But I think Mr. Ajit Singh, you need to answer. In fact, I would appreciate to encourage greater transparency in government. The Civil Aviation Minister must allow his additional secretary, if you say he's still additional secretary, Mr. Bharat Bhushan, to come on television. The government must give him permission to come out and speak. Mr. Ajit Singh should come on air and speak. And then we can have a proper chat on what happened and why it happened. Gentlemen, I thank you for joining me.
Yes. Mr. Ajit Singh might come on air and speak, but it might be in the air. Get him into the studio.
We hope to
over airwave transmission.
We hope to and we await Ajit Singh joining us on this program. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on that chat. Thank you. And that's it on the News Hour tonight. Thank you very much for watching. On the other side is our special broadcast, Total Recall on the great Dara Singh, the Invincible. Good night and goodbye.